Welcome to the Power of Transformation with Dr. BEGO, where faith meets declaration and purpose ignites breakthrough. Each episode empowers you to speak life, renew your mind, and walk boldly in who God says you are. Your transformation starts now. Good day, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Power of Transformation. I'm Dr. BEGO, and today we're going to be discussing what does holistic success look like. Before we get started, I want to invite you to make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe on all things Dr. BEGO Transform, and pick up a copy of my latest book, The 8 Declarations to Speak Over Your Life, everywhere where books are sold, and on my website, Dr. BEGO Transform. Today, we're going to take it to the next step, because success is not truly success if it only applies to one area in your life. You may be successful in one area, but the other areas are collapsing under the weight of pressure or shame or disappointment or even the feeling of inadequacy. So a person can be doing well professionally and still be suffering emotionally. That their emotions are not in line or in tune, and it begins to impact other areas of their life. You can have it all together financially. You can have the investment accounts, you can have the savings account, you can have the retirement account, and yet your life is spiritually dry and depleted. And so what we want to do is give, what does it mean to be holistic? Because too often we have this public visibility in which our life seems to be on track, but things seems to be going well, and yet we have this private fracturedness. The pieces are not fitting and the puzzle is not complete. And so today we're going to go deeper. And we go deeper by simply asking this question: what does it look like to succeed in every area of your life? Not just the fragmented parts, not just the part where it is lopsided, not just the parts of your life where you've learned how to be impressive and out in the inside you are still feeling overwhelmed. And so holistic approach to success, it means that your life is being developed in a way that does not honor the world, but your life is being developed in a way that honors God. And so each and every moment is the opportunity to be strengthened. You're being strengthened because you are important in each facet of your life. So what holistic success really means, I believe that's the dominant, the prevalent, the propositional question. What does a life that is holistic really mean? You see, many people hear the word success and they think about results first. They think about their academic achievements, how many degrees they have. They think about their money in terms of how much they have accumulated. They think about their influence, how many people know their name. They think about their title, what goes before their name and what goes after their name. They think about their visibility. How often can they walk in a room and be seen? They think about goals that they have accomplished. And yes, those are ways in which we measure success. But the question is not just about, did you achieve something? The question about holistic success is not about how many things you have accomplished. The question about success is, what did it cost you to achieve it? You see, success oftentimes, if not channeled properly, can cost you peace. It can cost you your health. It can cost you your family and the dynamics of your integrity. If you aren't able, unwilling, and not in the right position, success can cost you things. That's why we say it pays to be the boss, right? It pays because you are giving of yourself to something that very well may not be giving you back what you need, and in the process, you are losing what matters. This is why holistic success is important, because holistic success means that your life is developing in multiple dimensions and it's happening all at the same time, although it may be at different paces. What do I mean by that? I believe that there are some key areas in your life that are interconnected and interwoven. And so as you begin to live a life of success, your spirit begins to be strengthened. As you live a life of success, your mind becomes renewed. As you live a life of success, your emotions become healthier. As you live a life of success, your relationships become nurtured. And each one of those have their own degree. They have their own issues. They have their own requests. They have their own separate identity. And so to be holistic is to be able to measure each one of them and not be overwhelmed by the responsibility to manage them. You'll remember what happened in Luke chapter 2. In Luke chapter 2 at verse 52, it gives this beautiful model of the life of Jesus. In Luke chapter 2, it says how Jesus grew in wisdom, in stature, in favor with God, and favor with man. That means that Jesus was growing, and his growth was not one dimensional. That his growth at the same time at different paces was spiritual, was intellectual, was relational, and personal. At the same time, Jesus was growing spiritual, he was growing intellectually, he was growing relationally, and he was growing personally. That's a holistic life. Spiritual, intellectual, relational, and personal. That is how we begin to look at a holistic life. And if Jesus grew in this way to honor multiple dimensions of his life, I believe that this is a good model for us to follow. Because there is this danger in being one dimensional. It is danger in building your life on certainly one area. Because one-dimensional success is dangerous for several reasons. You see, you can be financially successful, but you can be emotionally unhealthy in your marriage and in your relationships with your kids. You can be spiritually active. You can be involved in church and ministry, but yet you can be physically exhausted at the same time. You can be respected professionally. On your job, everybody knows your name. You get called into every meeting. Everyone seeks your opinion, but you are relationally disconnected because your relationship is built on transactional exchanges. And so what success looks like culturally is that society tells you to keep going, to keep producing, to keep building, to keep pushing, to keep pressing, to keep saying yes, keep meeting other people's expectations. And guess what happens over time? What happens over time is that imbalance becomes expensive. It begins to cost you something. It costs you your peace. It costs you your health. It costs you your joy. It costs you your intimacy. It costs you your discernment because you are giving all that you have to one area and you're not living a managed life. And this is what it sounds like. This is what a one-dimensional life of success sounds like. At least I'm doing well in one area. That's what it sounds like. I'll deal with the rest later. That's what it sounds like. That once I hit the goal, I'll take care of the other things. That's what one-dimensional living sounds like. I know I'm tired, but I can't slow down now. But you know what? Later becomes your lifestyle. Later becomes a part of who you are. And so you begin to focus all of your time, all of your energy, all of your effort into one thing. While at the same time, you've lost track, you lost focus, you've lost intentionality on the other areas that matter most. And when that happens, people start winning publicly. You become the champion. You become the expert. You become the go-to person for the world to see, for your family to call on. And at the same time, you're losing privately. Your relationships are suffering. Your identity is in crisis. Your purpose is fainting. And so holistic success asks you to stop normalizing the imbalance, to stop saying that this is just the way life should be, and this is how your life is designed. Because I believe that there are some keys to dimensional holistic living. I believe that there are some areas that we have to focus on if we want to live a life that is holistic. The first area is spiritual success. Because the question that has to be raised is, are you growing in your relationship with God? Above any and everything else, spiritual success is number one. It has to become the priority in your life. Are you hearing God? Are you trusting God? Are you obeying God? Are you relying on God? Are you seeking out God daily in your life? Spiritual success. That your relationship with God is on point. It's on key. It's moving. It is going. It is not regressing, that you can look back over where you were 12 months from now, 6 months, 3 months, and begin to track your progress in your spiritual relationship with God. Number two is emotional success. Because are you emotionally healthy enough to carry whatever it is that you're praying for? Because too often we make these requests to God. Then we want the big, we want the grand, we want the enormous. But are you emotionally fit to handle it? And what happens when disappointment comes? Can you handle it? What happens when stress occurs? Can you manage it? Can you ultimately remain straight and steady under the pressure? While you're waiting, are you worrying? While you're praying, are you processing? And so you have to be emotionally successful. Third is mental success. Now there's a difference. There's a difference between emotional success and mental success. Because mental success deals with how you are thinking, how you are perceiving, how you are processing. Are your thoughts aligned with your circumstance, or are your thoughts aligned with the truth? Even when the truth is not present, even when you can't see the truth or feel the truth, are you being dominated by your fear, by your self-doubt, by your confusion? Or is your mind steady on the promise? Is your mind steady on your future? Is your mind steady on the process. Is your mind strong enough to handle the truth even when you do not see it? Number 4 is physical success. How you are stewarding your energy, your body, your rest, your health. Are you eating the way that you need to eat? Are you sleeping the way that you need to sleep? Are you exercising the way that you need to? Physical health. Number 5 is relational health. Because healthy relationships matter. Because they begin to gauge who you are connected to and how you show up for them, and also how they show up for you. So is everything well in your family? Is everything going well in your friendships, in your leadership, in your community? These are the extensions of your relationships. These are the connections that have impact and weight on how you show up in the world today. Number 6 is financial success. Now, financial success matters, but financial success is built upon wisdom, not money. Financial success deals with, are you living a life that is disciplined? It's not about I'm successful because of how many zeros I have in the bank. Financial success deals with how you are planning for your future and how you are planning for your children and how you are establishing plans for your children. That's financial success. And here's the last one. Number 1 was spiritual success. Number 2 is emotional success. Number 3 is mental success. Number 4 is physical success. Number 5 is relational success. Number 6 is financial success. And number 7 is purpose success. So the question becomes, are you living? Is it aligned with God's call for your life? Are you showing up in ways that reflects what God has placed inside of you? Are you living in such a way where you're not just staying busy, but you're living on purpose? That no matter what happens around you, no matter the challenges or the circumstances, no matter the pressure or the worry, no matter what is thrown your way, that your mind, your spirit, your emotions are fixated on the purpose and the plan that God has spoken to you. And that can be about your business. That can be about your savings or your retirement or your job. That can be about your relationship or your children. Because God has put purpose in each and every one of us. And the question that we have to answer is that, are we living a life of purpose, or are we just living a life of busyness? Because a life of success, a life of holistic success, it does not mean that everything is perfect in your life. It means that you are mature enough to acknowledge, that you are mature enough to steward, that you are mature enough to stay in God's presence. Because that's how wholeness comes. Wholeness comes when you stop letting one strong area outlive the other areas in your life. Wholeness means that you're able to do a self-assessment of where you are in each and every part of your being. And you're able to track and monitor and be true and be authentic of where you are. That's what it means to live a holistic life. but there's certain things that you need to build it. Because a holistic life doesn't just happen automatic. It's not something that you wake up and just wield. It's not something that you just speak and then it is. And so the first thing that you have to do is you have to evaluate your honesty. In other words, you cannot strengthen what you refuse to acknowledge is weak. You can't strengthen what you refuse to acknowledge is broken. You can't strengthen what you refuse to take inventory for. And so you have to begin to ask yourself the questions. Where are you healthy? Where are you being stretched? Where are the warning signs in your life? That's an honest reflection. The second thing is you have to stop glorifying your imbalance. Stop bragging about the areas where you're busy. Stop bragging about how you don't have no more time. That's an imbalanced life. And that is not what success looks like. And that is not something that is sustainable. Number three, you have to build a rhythm. Not just random moments. Wholeness is built through rhythm. How is your prayer life? Do you pray daily? How is your rest? Do you rest regularly? Where is your consistent budgeting or your emotional reflection or your healthy boundaries in relationships? Where is your wise planning? You have to build a rhythm for your own life. Stop living in moments. Stop relying on opportunities. And begin to set a pace and a course for your life that is achievable. Number four is you got to honor limits. Simply put, I know you like to be called on. I know you like to be the go-to person. I know that you're the key person in your family. But can I tell you something? You are not God. You do not have unlimited energy. You don't have unlimited time. And you don't have unlimited capacity. Limits are not weakness. Limits are boundaries, and they are invitations that allow wisdom to come in. So every phone call is not an emergency. Every email don't need a reply. Every text message don't need a response. Every comment on Facebook don't need for you to say something back to it. Establish the limits in your life and who has access to you. Number five, align your life with your values. If I told you right now to take out a piece of paper and write down everything in your life that is displeasing, you can do it. Everything that you don't like, every area of disappointment, every area of failure, you can write it like that. But it's equally important that you begin to list your values. If you say you value peace, but build a lifestyle around chaos, your values and your habits are fighting. If you say your values is love, but you keep talking about hate, then your values and your habits are fighting. If you talk about joy, but you keep bringing up trauma, then your values and your habits are fighting. You see, a whole life is a life where your habits agree with what matters. It is when you begin to live out what you say you believe. It is how you begin to walk in your values, even when other people don't see it or don't recognize it or don't appreciate it. They're your values. And so, how do you value your life? And what do you value in your relationship with God? Will determines your habits. They determine how you show up on your job. They determine how you show up in your marriage. They determine how you show up in a relationship with your kids. They show up how you show up in your relationship in your community. So declarations are important, because declarations help us speak a truth in an area where there's deficiency. Declarations help us begin to reorient ourselves in a way that our truth speaks greater and louder than the lie that we have adopted. So here's a declaration I want you to say with me. Are you ready? Repeat after me. I choose success that is whole. I choose success that is healthy. And I choose success that is in alignment. Repeat after me again. I choose success that is whole. I choose success that is healthy. And I choose success that is in alignment. You see, success is not meant to be carried in pieces. It's not God asking you to win in one area and fail in another. Because God's teaching us how to live a life that is integrated. Why is that important? It is important that we live a life that is integrated, that we live a life that is measured in healthy outcomes. It's important that we have a life that is anchored in God's word, because our peace matters to God. It's important because your health matters to God. It's important because your relationships matter to God. Your soul matters to God. Your stewardship matters to God. Even your purpose matters to God. And when those things begin to move together, guess what happens? Your life becomes stronger. Your life becomes steadier, and your life becomes more fruitful. You do not have to choose anymore between progress and peace. You don't have to choose between purpose and health. You don't have to choose between growth and wholeness, because when your life is centered on God, you are building a life that honors God in every dimension of your existence. So I want you to no longer be ashamed. No longer live in the shadows of disappointment. I want you to put it all on the table. I want you to put your marriage and your children, your finances and your career and your employment and your job. I want you to put your finances and your savings and your investment. I want you to put it all on the table. I want you to be honest of where you are. I want you to be honest of where you've come from. And I want you to be honest with where God is taking you. A holistic life is not one of perfection. It's one of honesty. Until next time, may God bless you. May the Lord keep you. And may heaven continue to smile upon you. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to the Power of Transformation. If today's episode blessed you, share it with someone you love. Don't forget to subscribe and stay connected for more tools to declare, believe, and become. Until next time, keep speaking life.